Hey, I'm Bill. This is Vital Bike Chains. Today I have to add to my pot of wax to do some chains. And I have a little bit of a predicament because, well, it's because of the Silca Endurance chip. So I'll show you what's going on. And so here's the challenge. Now you can see the wax pot, the wax level is getting pretty low. You can actually pretty clearly see the chain. So I just want to add some wax. Previously, not really an issue. I just open my bag of wax and pour in until I get the fill level I want. However, this pot of wax has the Silca Endurance chip already kind of blended in with it, and I want to keep that going. So I need to add another dose of the Endurance chip and the wax. Doesn't seem like an issue. The problem is the recipe calls for 250 grams of the wax plus one full Endurance chip, which they say is 72 grams, but mine came out to 76 grams. Regardless, am I going to be able to fit 76 grams plus 250 grams into this pot without it overflowing, plus a chain, right? Well, I won't keep you in suspense for too long. The answer is no, it will not fit. I thought of a couple of solutions. One of those solutions was to blend everything up in a pot and just pour it off into like little ice cube trays, and then I'd have like these pellets ready to go. One problem with that is the ingredients seem to like settle, so I'd rather not pour things off and get maybe unequal portions of the ingredients in different cubes. So I didn't really like that solution. Another idea was to just grind up the chip and, I don't know, kind of make my own recipe, like measure out how much grams of chip and how much grams of wax, and just kind of like dose it on the fly. And that just seemed kind of like a pain and maybe like a little over the top. So the final solution I came up with was, and you probably already thought of this, let's just do a half a recipe. The challenge with a half a recipe is I now need a half a chip. Now, I've already talked to Silca and they have confirmed that these chips are homogeneous. Like, there is no portion of stronger or weaker ingredients, and I should be able to just cut it in half and both halves will be the same. All right, so there is a logo on the chip. It might be hard to see in the video, but it's the little Silca logo. I had assumed that's like kind of the halfway mark across the chip, but I wanted to make sure. So I got out my Blockbuster Video ruler, and I know that thing's perfect. And yeah, it turns out that that little logo is kind of halfway across. So then I just took my favorite steak knife and gave it a good push. And it actually cut pretty easily, kind of like you're cutting a bar of soap or something. Once it got going, it just popped right in half. So I wanted to double check and just weigh each of the halves to make sure, and I was slightly off, so I carved off just a tiny little chunk and added it to one side. All right, so here's my thought. I have my wax that I've let cool last night after I closed things up. Well, what I'm gonna do now is add my half a chip, and then I'm gonna add 125 grams of the wax, and hopefully that all fits inside. If it looks like it's gonna overfill, I can just dump it all out and use a little bit more wax before I try and top it off again. So here we go. Zero it out. And then, I'm sure I'll take some cuts at this, but start adding some wax till we get to 125 grams. Again, I already have the chain in the wax too. Look at that. That's how good I am. Yeah, so it looks a little full, but once I melt that down, it'll get to a reasonable level. Right, and so there's a reason why I use such small pots, and this worked for me, so it really should work for you. And hope this helps Well, happy riding, and I'll catch you next time.